When Jason Momoa stepped onto the red carpet at the premiere of a Minecraft story, cameras didn't just flash, they froze. The actor, known for his rugged charm and warrior-like presence, looked almost unrecognizable. He laughed easily, held his girlfriend's hand tightly, and looked every bit the man who had fallen. Hard. It should have been a feel-good moment. But then the mood shifted. 3 simple words popped up on X. "This is disturbing." 2 pictures were included with it. One of Momoa's new girlfriend, and another of Momoa's ex-wife Lisa Bonet when she was much younger. The resemblance was, in a word, uncanny. Within minutes, the internet's celebration of Jason's glowing transformation morphed into confusion and concern. Was this love, or something else entirely? And now everyone is asking the same question. What exactly is going on with Jason Momoa? Let's find out. The premiere that got everyone talking. Jason Momoa's arrival at the premiere of a Minecraft story had all the makings of a perfect Hollywood moment. Dressed in a sleek lavender suit, flanked by his proud mother Coney and his radiant new girlfriend, the Aquaman star was practically glowing. Gone was the rugged, scruffy figure from past roles. In his place stood a man transformed, healthier, happier, and, according to fans, head over heels in love. His appearance at the Minecraft story premiere wasn't just about showcasing his latest project. It was a public display of a man in love, embracing life with a newfound peace. His posture was open, his smile wide, and his eyes, they sparkled in a way that fans had never quite seen before. There was no denying it. Jason was happy, and the world noticed. Fans and experts alike couldn't help but comment on his body language, which spoke volumes. He stood tall, yet there was a softness to him now, a gentleness that contrasted with the boldness he exuded on screen. His arms draped easily around his girlfriend, his hand holding hers in a way that suggested possession, care, and deep affection. The way he gazed at her, eyes locked, as though no one else existed in that moment, was the stuff of romantic movies. It was as if the actor had found something that completed him, something beyond the glitz of Hollywood and the heavy demands of fame. This wasn't just a red carpet moment for him. It was a moment of raw, public emotion. And as he laughed along with his mother and girlfriend, the people around him could see that love had softened his edges. The transformation, both physical and emotional, was undeniable. His girlfriend, dressed in a matching lavender gown, beamed right back at him. Their playful interactions, hand-holding, whispering sweet nothings, and exchanging knowing glances, had fans swooning. The chemistry between the couple was undeniable. Matching outfits, affectionate glances, and soft whispers made it clear. This wasn't a publicity stunt. It was a genuine connection. Social media erupted with praise. Fans called their red carpet appearance pure, wholesome, and the kind of love we all dream about. The hashtags Jason Momoa and couple goals trended within hours, but as cameras flashed and hearts swooned, a shadow began to creep in. A jarring comment changes the tone. It started with a single post. 3 words. "This is disturbing." Attached were 2 photos, one of Momoa's new girlfriend, the other of his ex-wife Lisa Bonet in her youth. The resemblance, unsettling, uncanny, and instantly viral. At first, many fans dismissed it as just a bizarre coincidence. After all, it's not unusual for people to resemble others, especially within the same circle. But as the tweet began to pick up momentum, the conversation quickly spiraled. Fans, who had once flooded the internet with admiration for Jason's new relationship, began to scrutinize every detail. The similarities between the 2 women were undeniable. The same dark eyes, the same radiant skin tone, and even the same hairstyle. And as if that weren't unsettling enough, their expressions in the photos were eerily similar, as if they shared more than just physical traits. Soon, Reddit threads and Twitter conversations exploded, with people dissecting every photo of Jason and his new girlfriend, comparing her mannerisms to Lisa's, and even analyzing how she carried herself in public. Some fans noted that it almost felt as if Jason had found a partner who mirrored Lisa, not just in appearance, but in essence. Others began to speculate. Was this a case of an unconscious emotional attachment? Was Jason seeking comfort in a woman who resembled his ex-wife, hoping to fill the void left by their divorce? What began as a celebration of Jason's newfound happiness suddenly felt like an uncomfortable reminder of his past. Fans, many of whom were deeply protective of Lisa Bonet and the love they once shared with Jason, found themselves questioning the authenticity of the new relationship. Was this love, or was it something more unsettling? The shift was palpable. What was once seen as a fairy tale romance now felt more like a confusing and unsettling chapter in Jason's personal life. As one Twitter user put it, "It's almost like he's trying to replace her." The love story wasn't over, but the tone had definitely changed. The dark cloud of divorce and its lingering shadow, the disturbing resemblance between Jason Momoa's new girlfriend and Lisa Bonet, wasn't the only thing people were talking about. Beneath the surface of all the public affection and glowing smiles, there were layers of complexity, with Jason's recent divorce from Lisa hovering like a cloud over his every move. Their split, which shocked fans and the entertainment world alike, was a stark contrast to the image of a fairy tale romance that Jason and Lisa had built over the years. The couple had been together for nearly 2 decades, and their separation, announced in early 2022, left many wondering about the true reasons behind their breakup. Despite their shared children and deep connection, it seemed that even the strongest of bonds could falter under the weight of Hollywood's pressures. Jason and Lisa had always seemed like an ideal match, both laid back, passionate about their lives and work, with an almost mystical connection that seemed to transcend the chaos of their careers. They were the couple that people loved to root for, but when they announced their decision to part ways, fans were left with more questions than answers. It was a quiet breakup, with neither party offering much in terms of explanation. In the months that followed, rumors swirled, everything from differences in lifestyle to the toll of Jason's career on their family life. But despite the speculation, the truth was unclear. Then, just a year after their split, Jason showed up at the premiere of a Minecraft story with a new woman on his arm. And suddenly, the emotional layers behind his relationship choices became impossible to ignore. Was this new woman simply a fresh start for Jason? Or was there something more psychological at play? Was he subconsciously trying to recreate the comfort of his previous relationship with someone who looked strikingly like Lisa Bonet? The internet quickly began to question Jason's motivations. Could he have been so deeply affected by the divorce that he sought out a partner who resembled his ex-wife in more ways than one? Could it be that, in the aftermath of losing Lisa, he was drawn to someone who, on a subconscious level, filled the gap left by her absence? This line of thinking was disturbing to many fans. If Jason's new relationship was rooted in the need to replace a past love, was it truly fair to either of them? Was this genuine love, or was it an emotional crutch that Jason leaned on as he grappled with the pain of his past? The psychological connection. Love or repetition? As the days passed, the narrative surrounding Jason Momoa's new relationship began to evolve into something much deeper and more psychological. Experts, fans, and even casual observers began to dissect the potential reasons behind his relationship with a woman who looked so strikingly similar to Lisa Bonet. Theories poured in, some sympathetic, others more critical. But the overarching question remained: is Jason Momoa truly in love, or is he simply repeating patterns from his past in an attempt to heal wounds he hasn't fully processed? It's not uncommon for people who have experienced deep emotional connections to gravitate toward partners who remind them of past loves. Psychologists often refer to this phenomenon as repetition compulsion, a psychological pattern in which individuals seek out relationships that mirror previous ones, particularly those that were emotionally significant. For some, this could be an unconscious attempt to recreate a situation in which they felt safe, loved, and understood. For others, it could be an attempt to resolve unresolved emotions from the past. But in Jason's case, it was hard to ignore the striking resemblance his new girlfriend shared with Lisa Bonet, his ex-wife. Some fans found themselves grappling with the uncomfortable reality that Jason's new relationship might not be as healthy as it seemed. They questioned whether he was truly open to moving forward, or if he was stuck in the past, seeking a form of emotional closure that would never come. In an interview, one fan wrote, "It's as if Jason is trying to pick up where he left off with Lisa. But the thing is, Lisa isn't coming back. No matter how much his new girlfriend looks like her, she's not her." For others, the resemblance was less of a red flag and more of a natural progression. Relationships evolve, and it's possible that Jason, after years of being with Lisa, simply found himself drawn to someone who reminded him of the person he had once loved so deeply. In this context, his new relationship could be viewed as a sign of emotional healing, as he sought out a partner who shared similar qualities, both physical and emotional, with the woman he had once considered his soulmate. But as the debate raged on, one thing became clear. The public's obsession with Jason's new girlfriend was more than just curiosity about his love life. It was a reflection of the deep emotional connections fans had with him, with Lisa, and with the idea of love itself. People wanted to believe in Jason's happiness, but at the same time, they couldn't shake the feeling that something about his new relationship felt incomplete, even if they couldn't quite pinpoint why. The public backlash and divided opinions. As the speculation continued to swirl, it became increasingly apparent that not everyone was thrilled about Jason Momoa's new relationship. The initial excitement had quickly soured into a divided public opinion. Fans who had once admired him for his authenticity and straightforward nature now found themselves questioning his motives. Some were skeptical of the quick progression from divorce to public romance, while others felt uncomfortable with the idea that he might be trying to replace Lisa Bonet with someone who looks so much like her. The backlash reached a boiling point when several prominent figures in Hollywood weighed in. An anonymous source close to Jason spoke to a popular gossip outlet, claiming that the actor was still haunted by his divorce. "Jason is a complicated person," the source said. "He's been through a lot, and I think he's subconsciously gravitating towards someone who makes him feel the way Lisa did. It's almost like he's looking for that lost connection. It's not unusual, but it's also not the healthiest way to approach a new relationship." The comment only intensified the debate. For some, it added credibility to the notion that Jason was still emotionally tethered to his past, unable to let go of his relationship with Lisa. For others, it felt like an invasion of Jason's private life, an attempt to label his new relationship as something unhealthy, without truly knowing the complexities of his emotions. On social media, the conversations ranged from deeply supportive to highly critical. Some fans were quick to defend Jason, stating that he had every right to move on from his past and find love again. "He's allowed to date who he wants." One comment read, "We don't own him or his choices. Let him be happy." However, others felt that Jason's new relationship was unsettling, as if he were using it as a way to shield himself from the pain of his divorce. "It's too soon, and it's too strange," another commenter posted. "The new girlfriend looks exactly like Lisa. There's no way that's not intentional, even if Jason doesn't realize it himself. I just hope he's being honest with himself and not just trying to heal a wound by repeating the past." As these differing opinions continued to flood the internet, it became clear that Jason's personal life was no longer just his own. The narrative had taken on a life of its own, with fans and critics alike playing out their own versions of his emotional journey. Was this love, or was it a rebound? Was he truly ready to move on, or was he merely caught in a cycle of emotional repetition? Despite the growing tensions, Jason remained largely silent on the matter, letting the media frenzy play out without much input from him. His decision not to address the growing controversy only seemed to fuel more speculation. Lisa Bonet's quiet grace and the power of contrast. While Jason Momoa and his new girlfriend basked in the spotlight, Lisa Bonet remained largely silent, graceful and dignified in her absence. It was this silence, this steady refusal to participate in the media circus, that spoke volumes. Where Jason's love life was front and center, Lisa's quiet detachment offered a stark contrast, one that many couldn't help but admire. Bonet had always been an enigma in Hollywood. A woman of quiet strength, artistic soul, and spiritual depth, she seemed to exist outside the Hollywood machine. Her relationship with Jason was often viewed as a grounding force for the actor. She was the calm to his storm. Their union felt sacred, almost ethereal, with shared passions for nature, family, and creativity. When the divorce was announced, it felt like something ancient had cracked. Though she released no statement after the premiere of a Minecraft story, her name trended on social media that night. Fans flooded timelines with photos of Lisa and Jason together, quoting interviews from years past, remembering the love they thought would last forever. And when images of Jason's new girlfriend began to surface, those unmistakable jarring comparisons to a younger Lisa, the silence on Lisa's part seemed louder than any statement could have been. She doesn't need to say anything, one fan tweeted. Her energy, her poise, her spirit, it's untouchable. Jason's clearly still chasing it, but she's moved on. Others were more sorrowful. It's just sad to see someone try to replicate the irreplaceable. Some even speculated that Lisa's presence was still deeply felt in Jason's life, whether he realized it or not. That perhaps he hadn't moved on, but rather reshaped his past into something new and presentable, trying to fill a void that could never be filled. And that's what made everything feel so complicated. Was Jason trying to heal? Was he genuinely in love? Or was he chasing a phantom, the ghost of a marriage, the memory of a woman who had once been his universe? Lisa, meanwhile, seemed to choose peace. Her children, her art, and her quiet life outside of the camera's reach appeared to be her priorities. There was no need for rebuttals, no posts to defend her legacy, and no digs at her ex-husband. She let the world form its opinions while she stood still, and that stillness made everything around Jason feel even more chaotic. The mirror and the mask, a man at war with himself. As the days passed and headlines cooled, what remained wasn't the glamour of the red carpet or the viral photos. It was a question that hung in the air like mist. Who is Jason Momoa becoming? To many, Jason had always been a symbol of rugged masculinity, paired with deep emotional depth, the man who could wield a trident on screen and still speak of his love for Lisa Bonet with the softness of a poet. But now there was a crack in that image, a duality that fans couldn't ignore. On one hand, there was the Jason who beamed in purple beside his new flame, who laughed loudly and kissed gently in front of cameras. On the other hand, there was a man who, by all appearances, hadn't quite let go of the ghost of his past. The resemblance between his new girlfriend and Lisa wasn't just disturbing, it was haunting. It begged the question, was he in love with her? Or was he still in love with Lisa? When people say he's living his best life, what they often mean is that someone appears happy. But appearances, especially in Hollywood, are masks, sometimes carefully placed to hide the deeper turmoil beneath. And Jason's mask was beginning to slip. The fan theories, the psychological analyses, the heartbreaking Twitter threads about trauma bonding and emotional repetition, all painted a picture of a man possibly stuck in a loop. A man who might not even realize that the person he was holding on to wasn't the woman next to him, but the one who had let him go. And that's what made this entire narrative so captivating and so unsettling. This wasn't just tabloid drama or gossip fluff. This was about identity, healing, and the very real and very human tendency to seek out what we've lost in the people we find next. When love looks like the past, Jason Momoa's transformation is turning heads, not just because of a new outfit or a new partner, but because of what it reveals about heartbreak, healing, and human nature. At the premiere of a Minecraft story, we saw more than a man in love. We saw someone walking a fine line between moving forward and holding on to what once was. The matching purple wardrobe, the tender smiles, the visible chemistry, it all made for a dazzling display. But behind that dazzle was a subtle, disquieting echo of the past. A resemblance too uncanny. A silence from his former love too loud. A public trying to reconcile who Jason Momoa is now with who he once was. And more importantly, who he may still wish he could be. In the end, maybe that's what made this all feel so strange, so disturbing. It wasn't just the speed of the new relationship or the resemblance to Lisa Bonet. It was the unsettling idea that sometimes, without even realizing it, we don't fall in love with a new person. We fall in love with a memory. And so, the story doesn't end with scandal or blame, but with reflection. If the person you love looks like the person you lost, are you truly in love with someone new? Or are you still loving a ghost? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.